In the summer of 1949, a gospel tent was set up right beside the Calcasieu River in Moss Bluff, Louisiana. People came from all over to hear the Word of God preached mightily and powerfully. Little did they know, this tent revival would lay the foundation for what would become the Moss Bluff Pentecostal Church. This tent revival that started it all for the Moss Bluff Pentecostals was led by Reverend Joe Duke. He proclaimed the gospel to anyone who would listen.
Then Peter said unto them, Repent every one of you, and be baptized in the name of Jesus Christ for the remission of sins.
Later that same year, a wood frame building was constructed on Long Road, and a Brother Booth was elected the first pastor of MBPchurch.
Nearly a year later, T.E. Ewing became the church's second pastor, but by January of 1953, the church was without a pastor.
There was a question as to whether the church would stay in Moss Bluff or if the remaining members would go to other churches.
In 1953, A.A. Heyman became the pastor of the Moss Bluff Pentecostals.
If it hadn't have been for my Lord and His goodness to me, I might have been in the penitentiary jail.
Soon after, a larger plot of land was purchased on Highway 378 and the original building was moved here.
And in 1960, this new sanctuary was built.
Along with the new sanctuary, an education wing was also constructed. Chris Johns joined the Moss Bluff Pentecostals while Reverend Heyman was pastor.
When I originally become a member of Moss Bluff Pentecostal Church was in August of 1971. Brother Heyman was such a gentle man. He was soft-spoken. You just always felt comfortable in front of him. He was a very wise man, and I believe everyone that knew him loved him.
Reverend Heyman served as pastor for 21 years, and in 1974, Steve McMullen became pastor.
This church has got a glorious future.
He was my second pastor, and not long after, our church really started to grow.
The church outgrew the old sanctuary, so it was time to build a new one.
The lot that the brand new sanctuary was built on belonged to a family, a long-standing family here in Moss Bluff. They had just made the stand that they would never sell their property to the church. That is when the church began to pray and fast and seek God. And it was not long afterwards, the man of the family came to the pastor, Steve McMullen, and he agreed to sell the lot to the church.
In July of 1979, the new sanctuary was completed.
This beautiful building is still used as the main sanctuary today. In June of 1984, Arthur Hodges became the new pastor of Moss Bluff Pentecostal Church.
Jesus' name. Thank you, Lord. Hallelujah to Jesus.
While he was pastor, the church retired the original mortgage and underwent an extensive remodel.
Upon Pastor Hodges' retirement, Tim Mahoney became the next pastor. During this time, the church underwent another complete renovation of facilities. The most noticeable of these being the exchange of bright blue pews for burgundy ones. On September 7, 2014, the Moss Bluff Pentecostal Church elected Jared Pugh as its new pastor.
I remember the first time that we pulled into the parking lot at Moss Bluff Pentecostal Church. It was just from the very first moment, there was just something that felt right about it. It was easy to fall in love with the people, the community, just everything that was so awesome about this church.
In the past year, several renovations have taken place in the Fellowship and Youth Hall and in the Children's Wing. But those are not the ends of the renovations.
We're going to be revamping our youth hall, and so we're excited about what's going on around here, what's happened this past year, and what's going to be happening this next year. Our goal and passion here is for our faith, family, community, and mission. Our faith is our relationship with Jesus. Our family is the most important thing that is in our life. Reaching our community and also taking the whole gospel to the whole world, to being a part of God's plan and God's kingdom.
The history of the Moss Bluff Pentecostal Church is a rich one. The future holds unimaginable things for this church, where faith is pursued to bring family closer to God's divine purpose.